Appreciate you, man. Ah, my God. Yo, beautiful faces. This is going to be a weird day for you. I'm not a typical speaker you might have had in the past, unless you like giant one-arm guys coming in here. I don't know what you're into. But I honestly didn't really connect with speakers when I was a kid. I didn't like them. I thought they were a waste of time. I didn't really like my high school experience. Felt like a prison sentence for 4 years. So I'm going to be blunt and real, as he said, and I'm not going to waste your time. Ultimately, I'm here to serve you. For those of you who don't know who I am, I was the first D1 pro basketball player to play with a disability. I accomplished all my goals and dreams. Face of a multi-billion-dollar company now, which is awesome. I have a production company. I got a show picked up by NBC. I'm very successful. I'm very happy, and I don't mean to be boastful. I'm incredibly blessed. I've spoken to Google, Facebook, United Nations. Get paid a lot of money to do those speeches. Your schools are getting charged for this. The reason I'm speaking to you is because I genuinely care about you guys, and somebody did this for me when I was your age. They put their foot up my butt. I'm here to do the same, but I wear size 17. We're going to get it up there, though. Ultimately, they give me the blueprints, dude. I just freaking hacked the matrix. I take anything you want. I've traveled the world. I've been to 49 U.S. states and every continent but Antarctica. I've met millions of people from all different walks of life. I literally just hacked it. So all I want for you guys, success, honestly, to be better leaders. I don't feel you guys should dread your high school experience. It's a high academic school, high athletic school. You're achievement oriented, but a lot of you guys don't know happiness. So question, what's your Harvard degree matter if you're not happy? I have plenty of millionaire friends who aren't happy, and several billionaire friends too who are trying to fill this void. I want you guys to have a purpose. I want to help you. I'm just you in the future. That's how I'm going to talk to you. If seniors in here, if you could speak to your freshman self for an hour, what would you say and why? That's what this is for me. Is that cool? Do that for an hour? Worst case, you guys get out of class, so you're welcome. Things I do for you. All right. Now, you have an awesome auditorium. It's kind of creepy and dark, though, right now, and there's not a lot of bodies in here, and your guys' energy sucks, so that's fun. Just going to be straight up honest. So we're going to have to change the vibes a little bit because I'm going to feed off you. I've probably slept, man, I don't know, 10 hours in 4 days. I'm in a different time zone. You're tired, I'm tired, but let's get it, dude. Since we're already here, let's go all in. Before I get started, two elephants in the room I have to address. If I don't talk about them, you won't listen to anything else I say. Do you mind if we turn off the projector? That's my bad. I'm not that egotistical. I don't need a giant me over me. That's the whole thing. I'm so sorry. Two things I have to address, because again, you won't listen to anything I say, and I have a lot to go over with you guys. How many guys wondering how tall I am? See, told you. You haven't listened to a word yet. You're just looking at me like, you freak. I'm 6'11". Yeah, self-aware. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm a giant, massive creature. People don't know this, but when you're 6'9" and taller, you're legally a giant, which is pretty stupid, like Gandalf in the Shire or whatever. I travel so much. I'm on about 150 airplanes a year. And I don't know why people do this. They see how freakishly tall I am, and they sit in front of me on a plane and then still recline their seats and crush my kneecaps, little stupid heads in my face. It's like my biggest pet peeve. So I get weird with it. I just start breathing heavily, like, so they'll stop, which works. Like, it's real creepy. But during COVID, I was traveling, and I was flying still, but you had to wear a mask on planes, so that didn't work anymore. So I got weird with it. This only happened twice to two jerks that wouldn't, yeah. I just kind of put my arm over the seat and went, scared the hell out of them. Traumatized a few dudes on planes, but 100% success rate. Which brings me to the second thing I got to talk about real quick. What's up, guys? Everyone, we're going to change the vibes in this room. Let's give them a super round of applause as they walk in so then they can bring a little energy. Let's go, baby. Those of you just walking in, I was giving context to who's speaking to you. First D1 pro basketball player to play with a disability. I'm 6'11". I'm awesome in every way. That's about it, right? We caught him up. Now I'm going to talk about what happened to my arm, so listen up because there's a lot of stuff I want to share with today, and we got to get it, okay? All right. This thing. If I don't talk about it, you ain't going to listen to a word I say. You're just going to stare at it the whole time, especially this guy. Oh. It's like a bad action figure. It goes like this. It goes like this. That's all you get for free. It's pretty wild. So I'm from California originally, and when I was in second grade, I took a trip to the Big Island of Hawaii. And I, didn't come from a wealthy background, so I was excited to take my first vacation. But I was like 6, so I wasn't that far in the water. My older brother was teaching me how to boogie board. And I remember that there was these 4 surfers in the distance screaming and waving at us. And we thought it was because surfers hate boogie boarders, or they're trying to catch a wave or something. Didn't happen to be the case. They were trying to warn us something was in the water. And my brother got pulled into the water. He came out okay. I got pulled into the water. And I felt this click. It came out. My arm wasn't there anymore. And at first, I was in so much shock. I didn't feel like any pain at all. Me and my brother just looked at this thing like, the hell is this? And then all the blood started gutting. Dude, I passed out from blood loss. I woke up in the hospital with bandages around my arm. And I remember my parents crying and praying over me. And I had bandages, and the doctor walked in with some x-rays and said, really sorry to tell you this, but judging by the bite marks on your arm, it was about a 6.5 foot long bull shark that bit your arm off. And there's no way to recover it. Sorry, guys. I got a real dark sense of humor, kind of a dick move. None of that happened at all, but that's a lot of fun for me. I'm sorry. Jesus, I'm apologizing. Kind of messed up, to be honest. I'm not allowed to speak at middle schools anymore. Little kids kept passing out. It was a liability. It was the whole thing. No, like, I've spoken to the United Nations. I've spoken to stadiums before. The hardest audience, dude, I spoke to a Taiwanese prison one time to the inmates. I got set up on that one. That was weird. The hardest audience I've ever had in the world. Been everywhere. 49 states, every continent, but Antarctica is American youth. A bunch of kids who don't want to be there. It's real fun and your energy's great. Yeah! It's like being a bad comedian at a dive bar. You know, it's fun, so I got to mess with you a little bit. But I will tell you what happened with my arm, but first I need you guys to perceive this. I'm speaking to my high school self. I'm you in the future, 10 years. That's what this presentation is going to be. So, I want you to work on empathy. It's one of the greatest masteries. My favorite. All the best leaders have mastered it. It's insane. Put yourself in other people's shoes, feel what they feel. You have to do this. And a lot of you guys at this age haven't exercised that muscle yet. So, none of you chose to be born. Facts. None of you choose what you look like or you sound like or your insecurities or the family you were born into. Didn't choose that. You didn't. You didn't choose what state or country you were born into. You didn't choose your school, really. You were just born around here, and you didn't choose the kids that go to school with you. They were just born around you, too. You don't have any freedom at home. Parents' rules. You don't have freedom at school. School rules. Life is a tutorial to a video game until you walk across the stage, get your diploma, Herff Jones in the room, cap and gown, right? And then life starts. You are in the tutorial, you're learning the controls. It's frustrating, it's not that fun, but then if you set yourself up right, you can just master everything you do. It's so fun. Got it? So put yourself in my shoes, feel what I feel, because I want you to exercise that muscle of empathy. I'm giving you context through speaking to you, and trust me, there's a point to this. Give me 4 or 5 minutes. A lot of you might be able to relate. Some of you might not, realizing some of the kids next to you feel the same way. You have to understand for the purpose of this conversation who I am. So this is what happened to my arm. You're going to be me. I didn't choose any of this nonsense. I was born on Friday the 13th. Crazy. It was on Good Friday, too, that year. Supposed to be left-handed. Classic. God's got jokes. Thanks, big man. But my umbilical cord wrapped around my neck twice when I was born. My arm got caught in between the umbilical cord and my neck. And essentially took my arm off and saved my neck, saved my life, which I think is a blessing in disguise. Left arm for the neck, blocking shots in the womb, baby. But when I was born, I had all these complications. Doctors had to revive me a couple times. They didn't know if I was going to survive or not, or if I'd be mentally there. A lot of my friends still wonder if I am. I was born into a household with 2 awesome, loving parents. Couldn't get along. When I was 4, my dad came up to me and he's like, Kevin, really, I got to tell you something, man. You get 2 Christmases now. I'm like, yes, this is the best day ever. But they got divorced, which is horrible parenting, in my opinion. Pretty dark. And so the problem was I'm from the Silicon Valley, the richest place on the planet, but I'm the poor kid. My parents each worked 2 jobs to support my siblings and I. So I had to get up in elementary school. Imagine having to be me, right? You wake up at 4 a.m., you get ready for school, you get dropped off at daycare at 5, so your parents could commute to work. You get picked up at 7 p.m. at night from Boys and Girls Club. Had great parents, never saw them, didn't have a home structure. Because of that, I fell so far behind academically, I thought it was stupid. I told myself that because I fell so far behind. I couldn't even read till 3rd grade. You guys play that game Popcorn in class still? Choose on each other to read? That game sucks. Played in 2nd grade, man. I couldn't read. Only kid in class couldn't read it. I remember this very vividly. So I started trying to read, and everyone started laughing at me. So like a champion, I was so embarrassed I threw the book across the room. Classic. And then I straight up walked out of class, and I hopped the fence and I walked home, which is a pretty boss move for a second grader. Problem was, they thought I got kidnapped. The principal, it was like a whole thing. I was at home chilling watching Pokemon, but they had to call the police department. I think there's a one-armed kid on the loose. You got to find him. So can't cuff me anyways, coppers. It's the whole thing. But I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid. I was diagnosed with dyslexia as a kid. I had a speech deficiency. I couldn't say L's or R's till middle school. I sounded crazy. Man, I was in counseling, anger management, special needs for a minute. They didn't know what to do with me. Stupidest kid in town. And again, we're working on empathy. This is circumstantial, out of my control. Physically, I'm totally self-aware. I'm a freak of nature. You didn't choose your body or whatever. Dude, I was 5'10" in 5th grade. I get a razor for one of my Christmases. I had a shave as a 5th grader. I was a grown man-child. Shaggy red hair back then. I looked like Ronald McDonald. One arm flapping around. And we do songs in class like the YMCA, and I'm the only one not doing it. And then I get yelled at, like the teacher's bugging out, like, why aren't you doing the YMCA? I'm like, sick, bro. Does this look like an MDU? We're gonna do the hokey pokey next? Great. Shake it all about. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. It's dark. What's your name, dude? What? Elio? Anelio? What? My name's Kevin. What? Oh, I'm Anelio. Jesus Christ. I love that, man. Anelio, you want to play patty cake, bro? Yeah, no, me neither. Never won a game of Twister, Anelio. A lot of awkward moments for a one-armed guy. Physically, I didn't choose this. Totally self-aware. I'm a freak of nature. And again, we're working on empathy, all out of my control. Now, make matters worse, and there's a point to all this, hold on. My dad sat me, my brother, and sister down when I was in 3rd grade, before he dropped us off daycare, 5 a.m., right? Super blunt dude. Sat us down and said, hey, while you were at your mom's house, I had a seizure. I went to the hospital, found cancer in my body. I don't know how much longer I'm going to live. My older siblings ran out of the room crying. I was pretty slow in the head. We went over that. I didn't know what cancer was. Plus, I was pretty young, so I just sat there and stared at him. But I realized he was sick. I perceived that. And hear me out. It's pretty rational. I thought your house was a magical place that healed you at the age. You stay home sick from school, you get better. That's how science works. So I thought if I raised money for him, you wouldn't have to work 2 jobs. He could come home resting you better. Everyone knew I was a money fiend as a kid. I had a whole candy flipping scheme at my elementary school. I got brought in the principal's office. They thought I was going to be a drug dealer. I had all these people working for me. They shut me down. Dude, everyone thought I was a money fiend because I was a poor kid in town. If you watch South Park, I'm Kenny. That's who I am. They didn't realize empathetically I was on a mission to save my dad. So if there's a quarter on the ground at a grocery store, it was mine. I had no chill. You could be an old lady trying to pick that up. I'd die for it. I'd pummel you. Run down the aisle. Ah! I was like a wild kid, dude. And I was this money fiend, so I saved up all this money. It's like $240+ in $1 bills, mostly. Magic Mike money, got to do what you got to do. And he knows with that name. I had all these rubber bands around it, right? And I hid it in my closet so my siblings wouldn't find it and take it. And my dad found it one day, super ticked off, thought I stole it. Principal already probably made him think I was a drug dealer. But he found this money, and he's like, where'd you get this? He was so angry at me. And I looked up at him, and I said I was saving it for you so you could come home and get better. Dad's 6'9", 300-pound dude, absolute tank, never seen him cry in my life. Starts bawling like a baby. He realizes his son is like saving his lunch money to try to save him from cancer. It hit him like a truck. He didn't say a word. I'll never forget his face. And he starts crying. He gets my money, he looks at me, and he gets all choked up. He puts it in his back pocket, and he just walks out of the room. I'm like, bro, that's my money, man. Where are you going with that? But the timing of this was nuts, dude. He quit both his jobs, came home, started chemo, the treatment for cancer, as if this were the straw that broke the camel's back. He had to fight this thing. I don't know, but I never had to go to daycare again. I didn't have to wake up at 4 a.m. Picked me up, dropped me off from school, made my lunches, camping, hiking, fishing with him. I got to know him. I thought I saved him, like $240, did it, right? Unfortunately, in the 5th grade, he didn't beat his fight with cancer. And as a 10-year-old kid, I held his hand as he passed away in the living room of my house with hospice there taking care of him. And I blame myself. Didn't raise the money fast enough, couldn't save him. I'm not here to depress you guys. It's already dark enough and creepy in this room. I'm not here to do that. But what I did do is I went back to school and I put this mask on, pretended everything was okay on the outside, because I don't want people to freaking pity me more than they already did. My life sucked. And I felt like I was the only person on the planet who felt that way. Now I'm grown up and I know that I'm not. Anxiety, depression, suicide rates have skyrocketed. The American youth is suffering horribly. If you have an NFL team, you guys are athletes in here, and all the Rookies are suicidal, anxious, and depressed. How's the team going to look like in 5-10 years? Like the Vegas Raider fan base, probably. Yeah. Pretty bad. How do you think this country's going to look? Right? Here's the problem. You guys at your school have an apathy problem. People don't care to be here because you have a judgment problem and people are mean. Facts? Facts? Cool. We're going to change it. We're going to change it. And those of you wearing that mask, we're going to take it off today. For those of you who don't realize the other struggles of the other people's, maybe sitting next to you and you can't see through that pain, oh, you're going to learn empathy and be a real leader. You guys were plucked out of your classes because you are the leaders representing your school and sports teams. Facts? We're going to be real leaders because that's an overused word. And I think we could step it up a little bit. So, I'm you. I'm the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not a product of my circumstance. This is not me being boastful. This is me being blessed. I'm not that 10-year-old kid anymore. I accomplished all my goals and dreams in basketball. Never been a one-arm player. I changed the game. They filmed a documentary on my life story for 7 years. Filmed me like I was a freaking Kardashian with a camera crew. Can't even count to 7. Dude, they filmed me in the shower too. Awkward, probably illegal. That was wild. But that was qualified for Academy Award. It was on Hulu for 6 years. Now they're trying to make a motion picture on my life story like Blindside Soul Surfer. That's humbling. That's super dope. I created a production company. I just got a show picked up by NBC. I'm going to be the host creator of a show that's going to premiere. It's going to be on TV 52 weeks a year starting October. That's pretty dope. Mark Wahlberg and I are pitching another show, and I have another one we're pitching, and a movie coming out in the next month that I produced and acted in. I died real quick. Bad horror movie. Don't watch it. I'm very blessed. I've created a couple companies. I'm a self-made millionaire. Travel around the world, help people. Board member, Special Olympics, spokesperson for Boys and Girls Club of America, Varsity Brands, BSN does your sporting goods stuff, Herb Jones, Kappa Gal class rings, Varsity Spirit if you're a cheerleader in here. I'm the face of all cheerleaders of America. A lot of leg in those skirts. Ultimately, guys, I'm very blessed. Now, stupidest kid in town. My first day was in 6th grade home ec because I couldn't sew the pillow and the teacher felt real bad. I tried to jump in sign language next semester. They kicked me out. It was a whole thing. I graduated high school with a 3.17 GPA at a Blue Ribbon academic school. I graduated military academy first in class. I graduated college in a top 50 business school in America with no transfer credits. I graduated a top business school in America in 3 years, taking 40 credits a year. I graduated as a junior on a D1 athletic full scholarship. I made the Pen and Sword Honor Society. First basketball player in my school's history to ever do that, ever get that. They took 2 kids on the whole campus a year. Stupidest kid in town. ADHD, dyslexia. I wrote a book. You know how long it takes for a guy with 5 fingers to type a book? This thing's only good for a space bar, buddy. Cap lock button if you want to get real weird with it. Yo, that's crazy, man. I had a speech deficiency. I spoke to the United Nations General Assembly room. How? I didn't come from 2 pennies, and when my mom got ill and she couldn't afford a medication, guess who paid for it? And then I bought her a house, and I paid it off. And I surprised her with it and said, live in it until you die, and I'm proud of that. And the reason I'm here is because I genuinely, the bottom of my heart, I want you guys to have everything I have and more. I didn't know happiness at your age or purpose or impact or anything. I wasn't a real leader. Let me humble myself. But I am now, and all I see is me. And I want you to have everything I have and more. And that's what we're going to do for the next 40 minutes. Afterward, you want to take pictures, talk one-on-one, touch this thing. I don't know what you're into, you sickos. We're going to do a leadership session after it. You guys cool if we do that? There aren't a lot of bodies in the room. You guys were selected out of 70 schools in America this year to have me on Varsity Brands for free. There are not a lot of bodies in the room, so you need to bring energy. Is that cool? I need your energy so bad right now. I'm depleted. All right? You, stand up. What's your name?
Bradley.
You look like a Bradley. Come here, Bradley. All right. Do you guys agree that the energy is kind of draining in this room? You guys agree? Do you mind if I fix it real quick? I'm in the business of elevating leaders. Bradley, I want you to look at their faces. Cute little fella. Bradley, I want you to observe their faces when I do this. Now, everybody, life or death, whatever, I don't know. On 3, you're going to stand up, you're going to not stand up, you're going to cheer, march, clap, you're going to go freaking crazy and change the whole dynamic on this room, or I kick your dog. Got it? Now, you're going to observe their faces when we do this. Hey, get out of your comfort zone. Let's go. This sucks. 1, 2, 3. Let's go! Give it up for Brady! Woo! Let's go! Look at their faces. Look at their faces. Sit down. Brady, what'd you see on their faces? Bradley. Brady or Bradley? Bradley, what'd you see? Happiness, smiles, because this is what they looked like before. Right? Do you guys feel the vibration of that room and the energy change? You see the shift? That's what we're going to live in today, because I could just leave and you guys could just play on your phones otherwise. Right? Yeah, squeak it, baby. All right, let's do this. So, I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. I know it's a wealthy, high-driven community, but what's your Harvard degree matter if you're not happy? And we're going to change this because I want you to be happy. And one of the biggest issues with the American youth, I want to resolve right now and call you out on it. Because you deserve to be happy, and I'm sorry if you've never heard that once again. My life did not start when I was born. This isn't about me, this is about you, and I need you to hear this. On my life, I promise you, if you don't realize and practice what I'm about to tell you, you'll never maximize your happiness. So I went into middle school. My middle school is called Pleasanton Middle School. It's called PMS. Stupid. And our school colors are red, too. They didn't think that through, dummies. But I was 6'4" in 7th grade. Just a massive freak of nature, man. I never played basketball, organized basketball. My parents just threw me in soccer. It was more rational. But I couldn't be 6'4" in 7th grade and not play basketball, right? So my buddy had me try out for the team with him. And the first day of tryouts, this coach pulls me aside in front of everyone, and he says, Kevin, basketball's a two-arm sport. Try something else. And he cut me from the team. It's like, you're a jerk, bro. I didn't want to play for PMS anyway. But, say God closes the door, opens a window, whatever. Coach in a neighboring city, AAU team, right? A travel off-season club team. Imagine if in San Francisco you have all the MVPs from all these high schools stacked on a nationally ranked team, junior, seniors of high school, right? And he heard about this coach of that team, heard about a one-armed kid couldn't make a 7th grade team. Whatever was in his heart, he had me come try out. And me and my mom didn't know him. And I show up, and these guys are 360 dunking and warm-ups. I was like, yo, I'm in the wrong place. Coach McKnight comes up to me and says, no, you're not. You must be Kevin. Thanks for coming. We start scrimmaging. These guys have a dunk competition on me. Real mature, dunk on the one-arm guy. I had no business being there, though. And then coach stopped practice and did something for me I want to do for you. He blew his whistle, walked on the court. He looked at me. He said, Kevin, why don't you use that when you play? I was like, what are you talking about, coach? He pointed at this thing. He said, why don't you use that? And I was like, chill, coach. I don't have an arm, right? That's the whole thing. He's like, no, man, that thing's a weapon. This thing, guys, they call it my nub. Everybody wave to it. Come on, yeah. Oh, today's going to get real weird now. Welcome to high school, freshmen. It's going to be a fun day. Do I have any varsity football players in here? This guy, you're so conveniently located. Why don't you jump up on stage real quick? Everyone give him a round of applause, real loud. Let's go. What's your name, man? Antonio! Yes, what position you play?
Safety.
Safety? What grade are you in?
Senior.
You're a senior? Awesome. Yes, Antonio. So you guys understand the nub. Were you guys' bones separating the forearm, reconnect at the wrist? Mine were like, no, you're not going to do that. So these are two bones. They're like little daggers. Getting nervous, bro?
No.
No? You ever been nubbed before?
No.
Today's going to be a weird day for you, buddy.
All right, let's make it happen.
How'd that feel?
Not too good.
You liked it.
No, I'm a wrestler. I'm a wrestler. I can take some.
I want you to pull my arm down.
Pull it down?
Yeah. You're a wrestler. Use all those arms. Strong, huh?
I didn't think it's strong.
Yeah, it's fast, too. Sharks can't catch me anymore. I squat up in a ball. He's like a propeller. I'm like, I'm out. Just go sideways.
Sideways?
Get out of here, Antonio. Come here, give me a hug. Antonio, you've been nubbed. You'll never be the same. Give it up for Antonio. Thank you, buddy. His whole world has changed. Yo, there had never been a one-armed player. There's nothing in the rulebook against nubbing people. And I'm not saying this in like a boast level, but I'm very, very cruel at this. I've broken some rib cages and noses. It's very dangerous. I went soft on you, but man, when I get on that court, I do not care. I have, again, no chill. So I post up on the block. I just shank other guys with this freaking thing. And it's sneaky and cute little ninja nub. Refs can't see it. Other guy tries to fight me out of nowhere. Ref's like, why are you trying to fight the one-arm guy? What's wrong with you? Power of the nub. Next possession, Marquise. This guy's saying at Antioch High School, signed to Cal Berkeley. So he's like going to Cal Berkeley. I'm a 7th grader. This guy's like a senior. And he comes, and not only does he try to dunk on me, he tries to dunk over me in the scrimmage. And I take coach's advice. I'm not taking a charge. I'm not athletic like that. At that age, I can't block that. So I go, whoop, right in the balls. and I got him bad, man. I defiled the man. And, you know, my teammates, they started rolling and hyped it up and all laughed and practice stopped and everyone was laughing. This poor man, totally defiled on the ground. He said something I'd never heard before, and I want you to hear this. He said, Coach, it's not fair. And that was wild to me because I never heard that before. I was born dead with one arm. That's not unfair. Jesus, man, come on. Broken household, stupidest kid in town, circumstantially. Poor kid in a rich community. Wasn't unfair that I watched my dad die or that I had to play basketball with one arm. It was unfair that I got to. And that I had everything I needed to achieve, but my whole mindset about this was awful. Empathetically, put yourself in my shoes. ADHD, dyslexia, I could hide. You have insecurities, especially in high school when everyone's super judgmental and mean. Facts? You guys say facts. Facts! Only if you want to and you agree. You know what? Speech deficiency, I could not speak. Couldn't hide this. Didn't ask for it either. Imagine if you were me. Girls are ruthless. They thought I had leprosy or something. You touch the nub, you get one too. Horrible. Guys weren't any better. I was weird. I hated it. I had it. I tried. It's just weird. Weird energy around me. I hated it. Everything about my crappy life, I stood no chance. Right here. And you know what this coach couldn't do? Couldn't grow it out. Couldn't fix it. He changed my perspective on it. Through basketball, he made my greatest weakness my greatest strength. And by accepting this, hear me out. Hear me out. If you give me a left arm today, I wouldn't take it. I love the nub. Antonio loves it too, don't you, buddy? Yeah. And I pray every single one of you guys can find self-love too. Because if you can't love you, how the hell is anyone else in the world supposed to? If you can't love you, how the hell are they supposed to fully love you? Ooh, I'm insecure. Ooh, you know what, Antonio? If you make it weird, it's weird. If you flop it around, I embrace it, I love it, then it's not weird. And it's weird, like seriously, if I put this in my pocket, this whole presentation, I'm a 2-hour man, I swear. I got a Rolex. The weirdest day of your life, probably already is for you. This thing, flap it around. I love it. No one laughs at me, they laugh with me. 8 billion people in the world, there's one you. You're a Picasso painting a piece of art and you should never have to apologize for it. But if you can't accept you, you're going to project that energy and you're going to get that in return. Think about that. Think about that. That's crazy, right? Michael Phelps, most decorated Olympian of all time, befriended him. You guys know who Michael Phelps is? Swimmer? Yeah, Michael Phelps suffered from depression. Michael Phelps also is an American hero who's a multimillionaire who is married to Miss Universe. How can a guy like that be depressed? He's not anymore. I asked him how he got out of it. And he said, Kevin, I had to learn something. Ray Lewis taught it to me. He said, you'll never spend any more time with anybody in your life than you. And if that little voice in the back of your head's mean to you and putting you down all the time, your life's going to suck. If that little voice treated your friends like it treats you, would they be your friends? And if you can't control and train that to be kind to you and build you up, you're always going to be miserable. So what he did is he started to train his mind by doing positive affirmations. Every time he walks through a door, he gives himself a silent compliment or silent win in his head. You guys get an A on a test and you look at that grade and you're off to the next test and you don't even pat yourself on the back. The small win. You wake up every morning, you're tired, you come to school with the mentality that school sucks. You float reactively day to day, you zone out all the time, you're hardly alive, you're NPCs. Wake the heck up. You don't know happiness because you ain't even rooting for yourself, and if you don't believe in you, it's going to be really hard for the world to be able to. Facts. So, I thought that was a little excessive. To be honest, walking through a doorway, every doorway you walk through, give yourself a silent compliment. But he is the most decorated Olympian of all time, so it sounded fascinating, and I tried it, and it didn't work because I'm 6'11", and I nailed my head on all these stupid doorways. So it's stupid. So, I do it when I wake up. And I brush my teeth in the morning, and I look in the mirror, and I give myself a positive affirmation. Kevin, dude, you went to bed at 11 p.m. last night and woke up at 3 a.m. this morning. Your lips are chapped because you've spent 12 hours on the phone yesterday. It's insane, dude. You're crushing it. You're impacting so many kids. I'm so proud of you. And then when I walk out of that hotel room, oh my gosh, dude, I've already controlled the narrative of my day. And when I go to bed, same thing. I do it when I brush my teeth. I would highly recommend making a habitual method to control your narrative of your life and make it more positive, because happiness and time, those are your most valuable commodities. Everything else is trying to acquire them. Facts? When all you have to do is train yourself. For instance, if I had do you guys have like high autistic kids in here, special needs? Yes, hello. My man. What's your name? Ethan? I mean like the kids who are kind of segregated from the rest of the student body, which I don't like. Do you guys have like a special needs classroom? Yeah, you do? Yeah. So like that classroom that like you have those highly autistic kids, if I ask them like, if they like going to school, they say yeah, because they get to be here, and you hate school because you have to be here, and you look at them like they have a disability, and I pity you guys because you're the miserable ones. Point made. Highly recommend you guys give yourself affirmations. You're freaking beautiful, and I'm sorry if you've never heard that before, but oh my gosh, I hope you guys can look in the mirror and love yourself back. I'm going to teach you how to be successful. I'm going to teach you how to change your school. I'm going to teach you how to be a real leader. But none of it matters if you ain't happy and spreading it too. So, just a word of wisdom. Your life starts the day that you love you and you embrace yourself. I don't have a disability, ADHD, dyslexia, nothing holds me back. In my reality, I love this. It's a strength, not a weakness. And honestly, it's not weird because I don't make it weird. Good luck. You're beautiful too. But if you want to be successful, you got to learn a few things. How many in here want to be successful? Raise your hand. And when I ask you in this room, if you want something or you raise your hand, I want you to lock your elbow. Lock it. Raise it high, lock the elbow, because I want to see everybody else see, all right? Lock the elbow. Now you can see it. I didn't raise my arm once. Sorry, it's dark. Couldn't help it. Now, you guys have a goal or dream in here. Keep your hand up. You want to be successful. You have a goal, dream, career, no wrong answers. Raise your hand. You guys all do, right? Cool. Cool. You, stand up. What's your name? Chloe, everyone, let's go! Chloe, don't sit down. Turn around. Tell them what you want out of life. Turn around. Speak to them, not me. Tell them what you want. Hey, let's go. Round of applause. Good job. I love that. That was a great answer. A lawyer, a doctor, successful, awesome family life. That's awesome. Raise your hand if you have a goal or dream in life. Lock the elbow. This is fascinating. I'm massively impressed by you guys. Chloe, look around the room. A lot of hands up still. Wow, this is good. This is good. Keep your hands up. Okay. You, rise. Nope. Come on. I'm no expert at clapping, but come on, guys. What's your name? Skylar? Stand right here, Skylar. Notice how I had him stand up. Notice how I didn't have him sit in his seat and talk silently. Right, Skylar? Skylar? You guys all clap for Skylar, correct? No. You clap for Skylar, correct? Why? Why am I even doing this? Why did I call him Chloe? You guys have any idea? Skylar, do you have any idea? You know what the number one fear in humanity is? No. It's public speaking. Statistically, there's 8 billion people in the world. Public speaking is worldwide the number one fear. You know what the number 2 fear is? And this is fascinating because it's not snakes or spiders or heights. Number 2 fear, death. So at a funeral, people would be in the coffin rather than give the eulogy. And I asked you guys again in here, if you had a goal or a dream, and either you lied or you were lazy or you raised your hand, because I've never met somebody in the world who doesn't want something. Don't sit down. And then I called on Chloe, and I was testing you. Because I wanted to see if you put your hand up a second time knowing you might be called on. Why? Some of you in here, not a lot, you guys actually did very impressively. A lot of you in here, though, didn't put your hand up the second time. Why? You're more afraid of the judgment of your peers than you are passionate about your dreams. And you have no courage. Tough love, still love. And when good men and good women do nothing, evil prevails. Tyrants rise. That's exactly how the Holocaust happened historically. And history is cyclical, meaning it repeats itself. And a lot of bad happens at your school because the student athletes aren't standing up and speaking their voice. Easy to be a leader when you're plucked out of class with all the leaders. Harder when you get to the lunchroom. Easy to be a Christian in church. Harder when you get to the parking lot. Ain't it? But Skylar, you raised your hand a second time because you have the courage and you have passion and a dream. And so when I call on somebody, I'm encouraging you guys all to get loud and crazy and bring energy so we're supporting people instead of judging them, right? To find their voice. So when I have somebody stand up, you guys go freaking nuts for them. Is that cool? Whole different energy, right? So let's give it up for Skylar as loud as you can. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good job. Skylar, tell everyone, what do you want out of life? What do you want out of life, Skylar? Louder.
I want to be a YouTuber.
Heck yeah, let's go. Good job, Skylar. Sit down. Good job. I hope you got something out of that point. Here's why. This is a very crazy academic school. A lot of the athletes didn't want to stay for both sessions because they were afraid of missing too much class. Jeez. God, man. You guys are wild. But I love you. You need leadership. You need to have that leadership. And I'm testing you. If you guys want to be successful academically, how? Financially, how? I didn't make my 7th grade basketball team, Skylar. Are you an athlete? Kind of? Okay. Well, with that attitude, you are. I'm terrible at basketball. Chloe? I want. No, you got to speak it in existence. I'm going to be a lawyer or a doctor. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to have an awesome family and have a great relationship with them. You see how I changed that? I'm going to, not I want. You, stop talking bad about yourself because I just allocated 10 minutes of this presentation to telling you not to put yourself down. Facts?
Facts.
Okay. You want to be successful? I didn't make my 7th grade basketball team. By the time I'm a senior in high school, I'm ranked top 50 players in Northern California, the most populated state in the country. Full rides to Cal Poly, St. Mary's, Pepperdine, University of San Francisco, walk-ons to UNC and Notre Dame. How? I'm a one-arm guy who never played organized basketball. 3.5, 4 years, completely turned that around. How? My favorite word, because you all want something that people have obtained it, figure out one thing. How? Ooh, separates those who have and have not. You guys want this? The blueprints to take anything you want out of the world? You want it? Yeah. I'm Captain Hook. You're my pirate army. You can pillage. You guys want it? Yeah. All right. I'm not selling you anything. Somebody did this for me. Here comes that foot I was talking about. Antonio. You guys ready for it? Yeah. Chloe, yesterday, what'd you do to be a doctor or a lawyer? Yeah, like every other kid who wants to be a doctor or lawyer didn't go to class. You want to be a YouTuber. What'd you do yesterday to become a YouTuber? I thought you wanted to be a YouTuber. You're not passionate about YouTube?
What makes me do stuff and
I like how you're challenging yourself to grow and put yourself out of your comfort zone. I like how you had the courage to raise your hand and stand in front of the peers and have the confidence to share your truth with everybody. And by the end of this, I hope we can build up your confidence and your self-love and self-esteem because you deserve to have that beautiful smile on your face all the time. Got that? You went to school. Tough love, still love. And I'm going to do for you what my coach did for me, but it's going to change the game for all of you. I wanted to be a basketball player. This isn't about me. This isn't about Chloe being a doctor or a lawyer. A lot of you in here are privileged, like the kids I went to school with. You come from awesome households. Good for you. Guess what? I think you're at an absolute disadvantage. You are, I don't want to say pretentious. Maybe some of you are entitled. Maybe you would agree with it. Facts? Okay. Listen, think of the best rappers, best athletes. Think of these guys. Some of the most successful people of all time came from the gutter. Why? You don't grow in your comfort zone. You don't grow in your comfort zone. They are in survival mode, and I didn't have anything. All I had in my crappy life was basketball. That became my dream. You know why? It's not even my favorite sport. When I went into high school, I was a freshman. I was 6'8", going to school with 3,300 kids, huge target to be made fun of. But when I stepped on the basketball court, started balling out, people started to respect me. And then I was accepted. I had a niche, a purpose. So basketball became my dream. My coach came up to me, did what I'm about to do for you, Chloe. Tom, can I get a water bottle? I'm sorry, man. Chloe, my coach came up to me and he said, Kevin, the same guy that taught me about the nub. He's like, Kevin, I know you want to go D1. I know you want to go pro. I know you want to be a lawyer or a doctor. Never going to happen. I was like, Coach, you're a jerk. I'm going to nub you. And he looked at me, and he ate me alive. This is what he said. I talk to your mom. I know what you do when you go home from school every day. You go home, you eat a snack and watch Netflix. Ooh, I'm a horrible person. Then you come to practice, and practice like every other basketball player in the country is not going to practice, working hard. Then you go back home, shower, eat dinner, procrastinating homework. Most of the time you don't do it because you're on Xbox or YouTube. Then you go to bed. The next day you do the same thing. Your habits suck. Your routine sucks. You're not controlling time. Time's controlling you. The difference between you and Elon Musk when it comes to time is nothing. All of us have 24 hours in a day. What you do with it defines you. And a lot of you guys are reactively floating through life. Raise your hand, lock the elbow if you suffer from anxiety. Keep it high. No judgment in this room. Be honest. Yeah, I bet these same people in this room, if I looked on your phones right now and went to the settings and looked how many hours a day you're allocating towards your cell phone, you don't want to do that right now, do you? You don't tell everybody, 5 hours, you start dissecting the day, right? Anxiety, you're living in your head. It's for the future, fear of the future that hasn't happened. You're building up a fantasy in your head out of fear that hasn't happened yet. Depression, a lot of you have depression in here. And anger, that comes from the past. Some of you have won arguments in the shower that happened 4 years ago. You're living in your head. You know why they call the present, Skylar? It's a gift. And you guys are living in your heads too much. And you're zoning out looking for escapes of your life instead of just making your life awesome. You went through a whole day yesterday and didn't get any closer to being a doctor or a lawyer. All this other stuff is noise. You're so lucky you already know what you want to do. That's got to be your priority. I wanted to be a basketball player. Example, right? Coach told me this. 0.03% of basketball players in the country get a D1 scholarship. Kevin, no one's ever done that with a disability. You ain't going to be the first, kid. Legends are made behind closed doors. He walked away. Antonio, you know what I did? What'd you do? I'm not going to front. I cried. I cried. I would too. You would too, right? Tom, you have that water? Oh, man, I'm such a diva. You had to order it for me? DoorDash, baby. Antonio, statistically, a lot of guys, especially athletes, teenage males in particularly, not to say females are off the hook here, but have massive egos. Facts? Now, what an ego is, you don't naturally want to get out of your comfort zone, but you don't grow in your comfort zone. So when I say something to help you, give you constructive criticism, and if you can't take constructive criticism, you got an ego problem. That's like wearing body armor to prevent yourself from growing. Completely destructive. But if you're able to humble yourself and listen, coaches, teachers, the people that are getting paid too little money to actually try to help you and service you for you to be successful, if you can listen to them and hear them and apply, ooh, think about it. All I had in my life was basketball. So I went up to my coach the next day and I said, Coach, this is all I have. How can I make it happen? My life sucks. All I have is basketball. What do I got to do? I'll do anything. And he said, I'm glad you asked how. That became my favorite word. What's my favorite word? Oh, I love it. And he said, I'm glad you asked how. Guess what, Kevin? Did you know it took 3 million years? Scientists believe anyway, 3 to 4 million years to evolve the human brain. What's that mean? Thank you, sir. I love you so much.
Right back.
Things you do for me. Give it up for Tom Hawley, everybody. He said it took 3 to 4 million years to evolve the human brain. If you want the blueprints to be successful, this is a mastery. Empathy, my favorite mastery. This is self-discipline. It's the mastery of success. I would listen. Dominated financially, athletically, academically, etc. All because of this. And I'm a stupid kid who's a disabled. Right? So what can you do with it? Antonio, 3 to 4 million years to evolve the human brain takes the average person 21 days to rewire it. What does that mean? Ooh, do you think when you blink, or do you just blink? You just blink, right? It's automatic. You don't walk around like, oh, I should probably blink right about now. That'd be weird. Do you think when you breathe, or do you just breathe? Automatic. A lot of you guys, hopefully all of you, don't pee your pants when you go to bed anymore. You trained your mind not to. You're potty trained. What does that even mean? You literally trained your mind not to pee your pants when you go to bed. Crazy. Raise your hand, lock the elbow if you eat breakfast. Raise your hand if you don't. Keep your hand up if you don't eat breakfast. Raise it high. Keep your hand if you don't eat breakfast and you're not hungry for breakfast. Interesting. As if you trained your mind not to need breakfast in the morning. Those who don't eat it and eat it consistently would be starving. You guys get the picture? How many days does it make to rewire your brain, make a new habit? How many days? 21. Kevin, this is what we're going to do. Chloe, this is what we're going to do. What are your weaknesses? Well, he looked at me and he said, Kevin, we can't work you out in the weight room because you got one arm. I was like, thanks, coach. Thanks for noticing, bro. And he's like, this is what we're going to do. I got a duffel bag suitcase. I put bricks in it. I'm going to give it to you. I got a duffel bag suitcase full of bricks. This isn't a New Year's resolution. Go inside. Watch Netflix, eat a snack. But before you do, lift that bag of bricks 100 times with this nub. You ain't going to get very far in basketball if you can't box people out with it. So we got to make that thing strong. What do you got on this nub muscle, buddy? So I lifted that bag of bricks 100 times. As I got stronger, added more bricks. 21 days later, I'm zoned out doing it. Then 21 days later, I add a new habit. Like I'm stacking habits. Like I'm stacking bricks. Commercial breaks. Who are they advertising to? I don't have any money. Beginning to end of commercial breaks, I do one-arm push-ups. 21 days later, I'm at my buddy's house watching TV with his parents. Commercials come on, I just start doing push-ups. They're like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Sorry. It's like blinking. How many days to make a habit? 21. I suffered so severely with asthma, I ended up in an ambulance in 8th grade. Cost my mom $3,000 she could afford because her insurance didn't cover it. Almost had me quit basketball. I couldn't stay on a basketball court more than 5 minutes at a time because I had such severe asthma. I wake up. Right? I start waking up. Once I get good at self-discipline and I started stacking habits towards my goal, which is to be a basketball player, and I didn't let a day go by without growing in a certain way. Chloe, have you ever met anyone who wore braces for the first day and came to school the next day without braces? Never. No matter how hard you press on your teeth, doesn't matter. Small pressure over time makes for a beautiful smile. Ooh, consistency. I get in the habit of making habits, self-discipline, and I got so good at it, Antonio, guess what? I woke up, put hard-boiled eggs on the burner. Athletes who aren't eating breakfast, you need it to focus in class and repair your muscles. Put hard-boiled eggs on the burner, I needed egg whites, a bunch of them. I ran 2 miles, came back, ate the egg, showered, went to school. 2 miles honestly sound like a lot before school? No, not for you? Good, I love you. Raise your hand and be honest. How many of you guys think that 2 miles sounds like a lot before school? They disagree with you, Antonio. It's 20 minutes if you're slow. It's okay if you're slow. It's 20 minutes. Here's how math works. You have 20 minutes 72 times a day. 20 minutes. No one else is doing this is why I can eat the rich kids alive. 2 miles a day, 10 miles a week, 40 miles a month. It's like blinking. Did you know you could grow out of asthma? I had no idea. They featured me in the Super Bowl edition of Sports Illustrated. And they called me a gazelle. I don't know how I feel about that. It's weird, right? Wish they called me a lion or something. But big men couldn't keep up with me on the basketball court anymore. I never had to come off the court. My stats immediately increased. Little guys couldn't guard me anyways. I just nub them. Didn't make my 7th grade basketball team. Freshman year of a high school, 3,300 kids. Most improved freshman year. Sophomore year, defensive player, most improved. Junior year, MVP, most improved defensive player. Senior year, most improved, MVP, defensive player. What award do you think that I like the most?
Defensive player.
Defensive player? No, you missed the point. Most improved. I grew from freshman to sophomore year as much as I would have grown from freshman to senior had I not done this. Every 21 days, I added a new habit. I did this financially, I did this academically, etc. How are you using your time, or are you just zoned out? You're anxious because you're not allocating your time. People who are anxious aren't too busy, they're just not utilizing their time correctly. That's a fact, and that's a hard thing to take accountability for. Think about it. Hey, Chloe, I'm going to recommend this to you directly, but I want everyone to hear it because you had the courage to stand up in front of your peers and very beautifully articulate what you want out of life. You're really special, and I know you're going to achieve it. But stop saying I want, say I'm going to have, right? You're going to change the narrative and speak it into existence. Secondly, get a piece of paper. I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. No, I'm going to be a doctor and a lawyer. And then you're going to put one habit that's going to help you get there that isn't just school. It's on top of that so you can grow faster than everybody else and you can beat them, right? You're going to sign that piece of paper. You're going to pin it on your ceiling, over your bed. You're going to see it when you wake up. You're going to sing it when you go to bed. Make sense? And you're going to start trying to add to that piece of paper and get to the bottom of it every 21 days. How many days does it make to make a habit?
21.
How many days?
21.
Hey, only person that can make you successful is you. But I'm not here for your success, I'm here for your happiness. So I hope you heard that. You can hack the matrix, take anything you want out of this world. I want you to be happy. How many guys don't like school in here? Raise your hand, lock the elbow. This is always fascinating. Look at that. What, even you? You didn't even want anything. You didn't want a career. You didn't want nothing, but you hate school. More hands for the I hate school. That's weird. Weird fantasy for this guy. It's crazy. Why? The number one problem with American youth. This is exactly why. This is going to be a little bit of a constructive criticism, and I hope you guys are up for it. You guys hate school. This is me speaking to me. You guys have been conditioned and manipulated your whole lives to put yourselves first. My goals, my dreams, my stats in sports, who I'm dating, how many followers follow me on social media, who cares? iPhone. You can hear it if you slow down and listen. It took me a long time to realize this. You know who don't put themselves first? Effective leaders. You know who don't put themselves first? Happy people. And you show up to school every day with a negative attitude, you zone out in class, you pass by people, you judge them, you sit in your cliques because it's your comfort zone, and you float, and all you think about is you. Facts? Tough truth. You want to change it? I want the varsity football team to stand up. Everyone give them a massive round of applause. Everyone in here is on the varsity football team. Awesome. Antonio, come over here. Keep standing. You guys have a good year this year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, senior, man. That's cool. You guys keep standing. Now, I love you guys. Ooh, look at that guy's hair. I love it. Fro going. Antonio,
Yeah.
do you enjoy the crowd coming to your home games?
I do.
You do? Makes you really, like, it makes it fun, huh? Doesn't it make it fun?
Oh, yeah.
You guys like that? Do you want to be a better leader today and grow as a human?
Yes, sir.
Grow as a man?
Yes, sir.
Can you be honest with me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I love this guy. Do you have a marching band?
Yes, we do.
How many times do they come to a home game?
Was it like every home game?
Every home game?
I think so, like every home game. Maybe they missed two.
Missed two? How dare them? They missed two. They came to every home game they could, right? How about cheerleading?
Came to every home game.
Every home game? Question, Antonio, and I want you to be honest here.
Yes, sir.
How many band concerts you been to this year?
None.
None. How many cheerleading competitions you been to this year?
None.
Yeah, no wonder kids hate school. You all want to be appreciated, and you're so slow to appreciate others. Here's the problem with that. If you're loved at home and you're born in circumstances, oh, good for you. And I'm not like being sarcastic. Good for you. I'm happy for you. If you have a stable home and you're loved at home, you come to school to learn. If you're not loved at home, you come to school to be loved. How's that working out? And here's the little point I want to make from coast to coast. Football gets all the love and appreciation. Men's basketball team second. Facts? If you have a real good spirit, maybe volleyball, but everything else is a crapshoot and they just work as hard and they get no love. Facts? Yeah. So you're telling me that band supports all your home games and cheerleading supports all your home games. You haven't even thought to support them once.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you're a senior. No wonder kids hate school. And yet you are the athletes that were plucked out of class as the best leaders. You're the best I got. You want to change it?
Yes, sir.
What's my favorite word? What's my favorite word? Oh, baby. I love this guy. Look at his cute little face. Oh. Antonio?
Yes, sir.
How cool would it be, and you probably don't know this, band concerts are still going on. They pretty much go band choir. They go on to the rest of the year. Your season's over. You might still be doing wrestling. No? Wrestling's over too?
I got an injury.
Oh, you got an injury? I got an injury once.
Oh, yeah. I know. I can see it.
This guy. How sick would it be if you got all your football guys as a senior before you leave and show up to one band concert, just one, and you wear jerseys without pads, and you show up and you don't go in the back and play on your phones. No. Everyone, I want you to hear that energy again like we did in the beginning. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's hear it. Woo! And you literally hug it out with band, and you go crazy for them. Video production films it. You share it with the rest of the school. Football supporting band. Well, do you think that would mean a lot to them?
Yes, sir.
It would. What if before you leave and graduate here, you make a tradition, a legacy that every year band is supported by football once when your season's over? That'd be pretty dope. Probably mean a lot to them, huh?
Right.
Make them feel more like a family, wouldn't it? Yes, they support you every game. Yeah. You support them once. That's all you need to do. That's pretty cool. You want to do that? Yes, sir. You want to do that? Yes, sir. Tell them. Tell them you're going to start the tradition. Tell your players right now. You're a leader, right? Yes, sir. Tell them. Ask them if they want to go. Go for it. Real loud. I want to go. Yeah, I want to go. You guys want to create that tradition? Okay. Anyone in band in here? When's your next concert? March? Awesome. Let them know. Everyone in here is invited. Football's definitely showing up. Is that okay? Now, cheerleading couldn't make it today because they're at nationals. How are you going to love on them when they come back? Because they support all of you. And cheerleading might be the hardest sport in the room. And I'm telling you, most of you haven't been to those cheerleading competitions. Yo, it smells like vomit backstage, bro. They're all so stressed. If they got to smile, pretend they're happy. Do spirit fingers. I was never good with them. No one wants to be the one to mess up. And they support you. Why aren't you supporting them? Make sense? Yes, sir. Dude, give it up for band. Round of applause. Thank you, Antonio. Sit down. Thank you, football guys. You guys want to make tradition? That's it. Start supporting each other. And then you know what? Football, say we're going to band. But if we go to band, will band come with us to support, I don't know, cheerleading, soccer, somebody else who doesn't get supported? Soccer. Is soccer in here? You guys still playing? Yeah? Would it be cool if you had, like, I don't know, the whole football team and the whole band show up to one of your games? Look at her smile. Look at her smile. She's cheesing so hard, I'm putting her on blast. She can't stop but smiling. How many people generally come to your games?
Probably like
25. Okay. How many wrestling meets have you been to? None. So why would anyone support you if you're not supporting them? Tough love, still love. I hope you all heard that. You all want to be appreciated. You're so slow to appreciate others. Do you hear it? Or tag you're it. Football to band, football and band to soccer, football, band, soccer to the next one. Carry that momentum through the year. Make a standard and a legacy on this school. Raise your hand if you go to football games. Raise your hand high, lock the elbow. Keep your hands up if you go to the football games, but you honestly don't even care about football, but you still go. Keep your hand up. If you don't like football, but you still go. Oh, you keep your hand up. If you don't like football, you still go. Look around, Antonio. Real wake-up call. They ain't there to stare at your butt, buddy. You know why they're there? Because it's a community event, and they have FOMO, and they have fear of missing out. Facts? Yeah. So maybe you can make all your events like that, or at least every one of you supported once a year. But who's going to show up for you if you ain't supporting enough for each other? Understand that? As a group, this is Game of Thrones. You have to make alliances. This ain't Squid Games. It's not every man for themselves. That's not high school. You got to make alliances. Go to a band concert. Yes, committing to it? Yes, sir. Got to let them know when it is. Round of applause for Antonio. I'm picking on him. As an individual, though, don't just do this as a team, as a leader, as a captain. You don't have to do it alone. Do it with your team. But if you guys want to make an impact by yourselves, and again, this is so much more important than money or fame or achievements. My trophies, more or less, collect dust. I don't even remember. They're in a box somewhere in storage. Most of the Olympians have the same thing. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to discourage you, but there's different type of championship you could win, and I need you to hear that. Why? You're a senior. Do you remember second grade that well? Bits and pieces? Yeah, how do you think senior year is going to be in 10 years if you keep floating? Yeah, wake up. You guys are floating, you're asleep. Time to wake you up. So, how many guys think that this school has a lot of negative energy and judgment? How many guys want to fix that? Wow. What's my favorite word? How. You rise. Round of applause. Let's go. What's your name? What's your name? Adeline. What grade are you in? 9. You're a freshman? Hey, Adeline, you look awesome today. Swag Central, your shirt's crushing it, dripping. Adeline, Swag Central. I like your hair too. Hey, Adeline, I'm sorry if Antonio in the senior class has never told you this, but the fact that, I'm sorry you've never been supported. Obviously, you're in band, right? But also, I know that it's weird to be pulling out of your comfort zone and stand in front of your peers. Your arms are crossed. I wish I could do that, but that's a full psychological defensive mechanism here. So I can get that vibe from you. So I'm sorry because it's a giant human beings who are super negative walking around campus, and you got to deal with that as a 9th grader. I'm sorry if your upper class has failed you in this way. But Adeline, This school is very blessed to have you here. We're all lucky. And I know you don't know me, but you don't pick your family, you're born into it. And the kids you go to school with, you don't pick them either. That's your second family. So consider me a brother. And if you see me on campus and you ever got a problem, you come find me because I got your back. And if I don't see that beautiful smile, there it is. Walk in the hallways be too cool for me. You better be saying what's up. Because no one's got to do this alone. And you're awesome. All love. You ever have a bad day? I'm here. Adeline, I want you to be honest. How did that make you feel? Nervous. I'm a giant one-armed man. Yeah. Make you feel good? Has a senior ever spoken to you like that here? That's good that they have. Hey, Skylar, I like your shoes. I like your energy, too. And I like how you're trying to grow. I like how you're putting yourself out there. Mad respect. How does it make you feel, Skylar? Good. Yo, how many people did I just compliment? Two. Not a trick question. One. Never mind. Two. How many days does it make to make a habit? 21. How many days? 21. Wow. Maybe just one. One compliment a day. Find a freshman that's outside of your comfort zone and don't just say, I like your shoes, but say something sincere and stop them and be there for someone like that for 21 days and it'll be like blinking. And you'll be an orb of positivity in a very negative world. See, there's plenty of fake people out of there and I choose to be real, unapologetically. And this world's going to be better for me being in it. You put a gun to my head, that doesn't change. It's non-negotiable. Love, empathy, kindness, I'm going to spread it like a plague. I don't care. That's who I am, and that's what I'm about, and that's my creed. And I want to encourage you guys to spread that love too. You'll feel good. Everyone will change around you, and literally, you'll start training yourself not to be such a selfish human being about you, because it ain't about you, it's about us. And nobody should be sitting alone at lunch. Make sense? You have a lot of judgment at your school. I'm going to step over a line here, and I hardly ever do this. But if you're a Christian, this is historic, this isn't religious. There's a woman in the Bible named Mary Magdalene. She's literally a prostitute. Now, before I tell this story, how many guys in here have seen somebody sit alone at lunch? Raise your hand, lock the elbow. All of you. How many in here have seen people get bullied at school? Cool. You've seen people get judged or bullied or whatever. Put your hands down. Mary Magdalene's a prostitute. She's getting stoned to death. What does that mean? These guys called the Pharisees, they're like the Pope Cardinal, whatever, the Jewish. They're like high-end Jews. They're tossing stones at her till you die. Real fun way to go. And this dude comes over. His name's Jesus. And he's like, I got to paraphrase because of blasphemy, so just give me a little slack here because I don't know. But he says, though with you without sin, throw the next stone or something. He basically flexed on him and said, if you aren't sinners, throw the next stone because you've sinned too. And you know what they did? Tucked their tail between their legs and walked away. And then Jesus picked up, like, presumably the Son of God, who's really excited about a prostitute, picked her up off the floor, didn't judge her. No. He said, I got 11 stinky fishermen and a tax collector no one likes. Come eat at my table. Now, I ain't saying you guys in here are casting the stones. A lot of you are watching. Raise your hand if you've seen somebody sit alone at lunch. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up if you've asked them to sit with you. And there you go. Round of applause for these kids. You're seeing a pattern here. And the reason I share this with you and why it's so important for me, because two leaders saved my life my senior year. And not just like an exaggeration or like they literally saved my life. This is what happened. Antonio, when I was a senior, when I was your age, I was cooking it, man. I was balling. I was crazy. I was a big man on campus. Dude, I was sitting in my English class. And I got to call my phone from an area code. There's no numbers behind it. I picked up my phone in class. You have a phone, don't do that. But I picked up my phone in class. I was like, hello? They're like, is this Kevin? I said, yeah. They said, this is the White House. And I hung up on them. Whoops. Thought it was a prank call or whatever, right? They called back. I excused myself to the hallway. They're like, is this Kevin? I said, yeah, this is the White House. The President of the United States, citing the news, says you're one of his heroes, inspired by you, and wants to meet you. Would you be interested? As a 17-year-old kid, I was like, Leo, let me check my schedule, pencil him in. That sounds dope. Talked to him for a little bit. Went back into my classroom. My teacher's like, Kevin, what are you doing? I was like, the White House called me. He's like, shut up, bro. Sit down. Month later, 5 weeks later-ish, very, 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 dude, I remember this very well because it was so sketchy. I'm sitting in the back row of Mr. D. Piola's math class, and two Secret Service guys with earbuds come in. And they say, Kevin, come with us. Straight up kidnap me. So sketchy. No one said a word. That's the worst part. Tell me how you really feel. And they put me in an SUV, a black SUV. They drove me to San Francisco Airport where the President of the United States flies down on Air Force One. Comes off the staircase, does that fake little wave thing, shakes my hand. Kevin, it's an honor to meet you. Spends 40 minutes with the same kid who didn't make the 7th grade basketball team because some random dude's dad playing coach told me basketball is a two-arm sport. And then, self-love, I owned the nub, became my greatest strength. I changed my habits, which changed my routine 3-4 years later-ish, right? 4 years later, I'm getting recognized by the most powerful person on the planet for balling out with one arm. I ain't better than you, but I'm living, breathing proof that this works. There's 2 types of people in the world, those who believe they can and those who believe they can't. They're both right. Catch is here, Antonio. I had a basketball game that night. Chloe, I was born on Friday the 13th, and here we go. Meeting the president, I got to rush back to a game. We have so much San Francisco traffic, and I'm all freaking out like I didn't know I was going to spend so much time with the president, right? And so they postponed the game, thousands of people. I'm such a diva, man. They held the whole thing up for me. So I have a couple cop cars escorting our SUV or Secret Service to the gym. And I get there, and everyone's clapping. Hey, he's finally here. We can start a game, this guy. And I don't have time to stretch or warm up in the first quarter of the basketball game. I went up to dunk the basketball, landed wrong on my leg, coming down, broke it. Rushed to the emergency room of the hospital where I was watching myself in the lobby. I mean, in every national news station, man. I was meeting the president. But I was sitting in a wheelchair with a broken leg. Worst part about a one-armed guy in a wheelchair, just kind of spin around in circles. It's all super dark. But I broke my left leg. I couldn't use a crutch on that side. And all those coaches, man, recruiting me, take a chance on Captain Hook. Captain Hook with a peg leg, too much pirate for anybody. They withdrew all their scholarship offers. Some of them wouldn't even pick up a phone for me once they found out. And I was so confident I was going for basketball, I didn't even apply to school, nor could I afford it. And this is what I did as a senior. And I highly encourage you don't do it because your life hasn't started until you graduate here. Not really. But I didn't have basketball anymore. And so I took the bottle of painkillers Doc gave me, whole bottle of Vicodin, down the whole thing, enough to kill a horse. Sad when seniors do that. Prospectively, modern medicine, you live to 100. High school's 4% of your life, and you all make it so dramatic. Me too. I woke up 2.5 days later, dazed and confused from trying to kill myself. And you know what? You know what saved me, Antonio? 2 seniors. They weren't athletes, but they were real leaders, and they didn't get a grade for this. This wasn't for a class. This wasn't for the college resume. They did something on campus, not even for me, that literally through its ripple effect saved my life. I went to school with this kid, Josh Berger. You guys put yourself in my shoes. Empathy, my favorite mastery. I want you to put yourself in Josh Berger's. Imagine if you were born, in Josh Berger's body. Now this kid has a rare disease. His hands and his feet and his head grow. His body doesn't. His hands and his feet and his head are the size of a 16-year-old. He's a sophomore. And he's a 16-year-old sophomore. And his hands and his feet and his head are the size of a 16-year-old. His body's the size of a baby. He rides around campus on this little electric cart on his belly with his head propped up with oxygen in his nose. Never sat up a day in his life because his backbone can't support his head. 100% mentally there. Better GPA than me, trapped in a baby's body. Forget about your goals and dreams and family and, I don't know, or a YouTuber, or a doctor, or a lawyer, or basketball, or driving a car, or riding a bike, or school dances, or college. He doesn't know if he's going to be alive next year. Doesn't have to come to school if he doesn't want to, and totally self-aware in a judgmental place that his mom comes and takes him out of class twice a day to change his diapers. Imagine, Antonio, if the whole world were giants. Chloe, imagine if you were the size of a baby and everyone looked down at you and pitied you with their eyes. That would suck. That would be hell. Facts? Yeah. And then 2 kids, empathetically, approached him, J.R. Weaver, Brett Bauer, and they asked him, you're distracting me the whole time because you look like J.R. Weaver, this guy with the white shirt, like identical. Sorry, this whole presentation with your parted hair and your beautiful face. Anyway, I've got distracted. Listen, JR and Brett approached this guy, Josh Berger, and they asked him, how can we involve you more? This must be super hard. That's all. And he said, I'll never play sports. I'm a big fan. That's the hardest part. So they had to get a little creative. He couldn't play sports physically. So what they did is they wanted to include him, though. They got a giant wooden stick and a bed sheet and spray painted on it and made him a school flag. Looks stupid. They did a terrible job. But they duct taped it to his cart, had him ride around the field before a football game.
Crowd went nuts. That's just the home crowd, away crowd too. So successful, he became a mascot of a school with 3,300 kids who had gossip and drama and bullying and cliques and a bunch of apathy. People didn't want to be there, etc. Right? All of a sudden, you drop a rock into water, the water ripples. Josh was the rock, that love rippled too. He became the mascot of our school in a very positive way. He was at all the sporting events. People loved on him. And you know what? It's not weird unless you make it weird. So instead of looking at him like this freak of nature, now people loved on him. Gave him daps in the hallways. Yo, this guy had 5 horsepower plus in his little cart. And I've seen him do this. He's like, yo, ladies, want to ride to class? Bunch of chicks, like 2, 3 chicks would jump on the back of it. He'd zoom away. Couldn't keep up with this fool. Ray of sunshine at my school, no one knew he was there till 2 kids went out of their normal routine, built him a flag, and gave him that power, the sophomore. And you know why that's so important? Because when I came back from trying to kill myself, it won my teammates and won my friends in the parking lot waiting for me. Big man on campus, coming back with broken dreams and a broken leg. Hard life. Who's waiting for me? The littlest dude on campus, who was empowered by a flag. And he rolls up to me in his cart. He looks up to me. He's like, Kevin, this must be super hard. You can't play anymore. I get it. But I got your back, and we're going to get through this together. And that saved my life. What the hell have you done? Y'all hate high school so much. What flag have you built? Or have you just sat in here and entitled in your rich community with all these people who are underappreciated and underpaid to serve you? You know, the funny thing is basketball worked out anyway, and I made history. You know what's funny? I love my life, and I didn't know what happiness was. I have a beautiful, smoking hot wife. She models for Sports Illustrated. Don't know where to put the ring, but, you know. I got a 2-year-old boy who's perfect in every way. I got a baby girl due in like 2 weeks. Thanks, man. And they shouldn't be alive because I shouldn't be alive. Good thing 2 guys built a flag. So what have you done? Because a fool learns from his own mistakes and a wise man learns from others. Before you graduate in the next 3 months, you better go to a band concert at least, man. You better create a tradition or a legacy here that's going to last. Senior class in particularly, class of 2023. How are you going to make this place better? Make a tradition before you leave that the juniors will do next year, and then they'll pick a new problem, solve it, and try to outdo you. How many days to make a habit? Babyface sophomores become seniors. They do the old seniors, they do the old juniors, they outdo them. And every year your school improves in one way. It's all student driven. What's my favorite word? Start showing up for each other. Maybe you thank your coach or your teacher genuinely, who are underpaid and underappreciated, should show up for you every day. With modern inflation, it's not even logical to be a teacher anymore. When have you thanked them? Or the bus driver, or the janitor? Because I know all you guys aren't hitting the urinal every time perfectly. Literally clean up your mess. The lunch lady. When have you been sincere? Not like thanks, but like this. Who's a coach in here? This guy, actually. I want you to come over here. Everyone give him a round of applause, loudly. This guy's doesn't skip leg day, huge pecs, short shorts. He's a coach, man. What's your name one more time?
Coach Babbage.
Coach Babbage?
Pavage.
Pavage? Stop changing your name, bro. What do you coach again?
Wrestling.
Wrestling? Haha, Antonio, he's injured. Poor guy. Hey, how long have you been coaching for?
Oh, about 13 years.
It's a lot of years. I'm sorry, man. I just have to say this, and I know we spent a little time together this morning, but thank you on behalf of everything you've done. It took a village to raise a child. All my success I credit back to teachers and coaches. Didn't see my parents, not that I have great parents. I had great parents, but circumstances, both died before their time. I didn't see them much. And people like you who just cared too much coach me. And everything I am today, I completely credit back to you. And I love you, and you'll never understand the ripple effect that you have on these kids. Mad freaking respect. Thank you. What's my favorite word? Just like that. Fool learns from his own mistakes, a wise man learns from others. I'm going to end you guys with this one last story, and I want you to hear it very clearly. I don't remember senior year that well either. I took 4 years of German, just sprechen Sie Deutsch is about all I remember how to say. I don't remember the SATs. I remember I was hungry. I don't remember all the all-nighters. And you know what I definitely don't remember? All the basketball games, bits and pieces. But there's one thing at high school that I'll never forget that I'm most proud of that has nothing to do with academics or athletics. It was really the only time I truly signed as a leader, despite being team captain and big man on campus. I went to prom, senior ball. People call it different things. Now, I don't dance. Why? 6th grade, square dancing, PMS, got to do it in PE. Danielle Beckman, my first crush. So stoked. I got matched up with her, but she had to hold my left hand, awkward for everybody. Her friends went, or she went, ew, and her friends laughed. I went home like broken. I'm never going to dance again, man. Became like the mayor from Footloose, all bitter. But I didn't want to miss out on senior ball. So I asked this girl, Vesna, Christine, her friend asked me, whatever. We made it work. I had 2 dates to the prom. Crushing it. Couldn't hold both their hands, but don't clap for that, this guy. Now, my school was so wealthy, they bought out a ballroom. So it was like limos, dude. And there was this ballroom. It was 3 stories high in San Francisco. It was 3 stories with a DJ on a stage and a dance floor. So everyone's eating in their 3 stories, right? DJ's playing music, but he wants to start the dance. It's time to get everyone on the dance floor. So he plays the most popular song at the time, Lil Wayne's Lollipop. I know. It was a good one. No Hands, Waka Flocka Flame, or whatever his name is. That's a good one, though. So this special needs girl, highly autistic girl at my school, like with Asperger's or whatever, that's in that, she was at the dance, and I didn't even know her, and she ran up to the stage, and she just went crazy by herself. Like Chuck Norris, I don't know, man, if she's trying to get a black belt, but she was doing some karate moves and some crazy stuff, climbing ladders. It was wild. And like a bad comedy movie, my senior class regressed, and they looked down at her, and they laughed. Woo! Became a roar. You could hardly hear that song. And she didn't even know it, and it broke my heart. Because I remember how fake kids are. I was the laughing stock of town before basketball with a camera crew around me, then everyone wanted to be my friend. Would your girlfriend or boyfriend still be friends with you if you were Josh Berger? It takes a lot of courage for a leader to go out of their comfort zone and do what they know is right. It's hard to stand up, Skylar, but I'm proud of you for doing it. And I looked down at him, and I was so angry. I went down to the middle of the dance floor, and I looked up, and I kept my senior class accountable. So angry at him. I shook my head at him, and like that, they realized what punks they were being, and they all shut up at once. And then I turned around and proceeded to dance with this girl. And here's the thing. 7-foot-tall guys can't dance. It's a whole thing. Girls try to twerk on me. They twerk up my knees. I'm like, get out of here. It's like defensive stance. Like, that's not fun. Put lasers on my nose. But I try to back her up and start dancing with her, so I'm trying to like do what she's doing. And she looked up at me like you dance funny. I'm like, what the? Craziest thing happened, and I need you to hear it. Craziest thing happened. 8 kids. It wasn't the whole school. Life's not a Disney Channel movie. 8 kids. 8 kids. Not my friends or teammates. 8 kids. When I had the courage to stand up for her, 8 kids had the courage to follow, and they backed me up when I put my neck on the line. 8 kids. And all of them were band kids. And I never went to a band concert because all I cared about was me. And I hated high school. And I wasn't happy in high school. And I don't remember high school that well. But I remember sticking up for that girl, and I'm proud of that. You're the difference, and if not you, then who? Student body follows the athletes, and you're the leaders of the athletes. The power you have, it's up to you, or else the Ferris wheel of misery continues. Do not float through life. You deserve to have a happy life. Make your passion your paycheck, 21-day habits, scale, grow, be kind. Yes, make a legacy. You got nothing to lose. Because if not you, then who? You are the most incredible human people, and I genuinely appreciate your time. I know you came in here dark, early, tired, you're missing class. That's a big problem for some of you athletes. I don't know why, but I enjoyed my time with you guys heavily, and you guys have been awesome, and I'm really appreciative for some of you being great sports today. But I also need to challenge you and slingshot you into that student body to make a difference and start scaling this school, because you have everything here, and you are very blessed. This is your second family. Let's start acting like it. Thanks for having me.